Alright guys, welcome back to TubOpinons. Again, sorry it's been so long since I had a video, but I've been mulling over what I wanted to talk about, and some recent tweets just being at Frosty Faustings last weekend made me start thinking about a long spread meme in the FGC. And I mean, this is not new at all. This isn't something that's new. It's not something that's probably ever going to go away, but I still wanted to talk about it because I feel like it's important. And I feel like it's not a great thing to meme about in spread. So anyways, you'll see that I am today in the FGC retirement home. We got our Astro City cabs to the left, head-to-head setup, CVS2 running 24/7. We got other games in the back. And, you know, seriously, as I get older, and for as long as I've been in the FGC now, I think about how games come and go, right? And I think about how many games have staying power and some games seem to fade away, right? And I feel like a lot of that happens due to people calling games dead. For whatever reason, nowadays you're gonna hear about dead games. And I shouldn't even say nowadays. Like I said before, this is something that's been a bit of a FGC phenomena since I can remember. Since I started playing fighting games competitively, people just like to meme on games that don't have maybe as many tournament entrances as others. As you can see here in the FGC graveyard up to my left, we have Melty Blood, Type Lumina, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, BB Tag, Soul Calibur, Mortal Kombat 11, etc., etc. The list goes on and on and on. And something that happens even to brand new games like Melty Blood, Type Lumina, you all of a sudden start hearing, if there isn't 700 plus entrants at every tournament, every major, that the game is dead. And I think what really kind of stuck out to me recently that made me feel like, man, this is actually a bit of a problem, was a recent tweet from Majin Obama. It says, "Painful to see more DQs and entrants, but final showing is encouraging despite the memes, and top 8 was pretty fun to watch. All things considered, not a bad showing. People respond to this with cope and shitty memes though." This is of course in reference to Melty Blood Type Lumina. This is a game that Majin Obama has supported, he really likes, he plays on stream, and he apathetically tweeted, you know, do what y'all gotta do. You know, I'm ready for the cope memes, the copium, you know, being sent at me just for saying this. And I feel like that's such a problem in the FGC. You know, I think back to 4 years ago now. Wow. MVCI came out a little bit over 4 years ago. And before it even arrived, people were memeing it. Dead on arrival, dead game, Dragon Ball gonna kill it. And you know, you would think that with the way people are on the internet and just the memes that get tossed out constantly, the people would be able to ignore that stuff, right? Like, oh, whatever, just internet trolls doing their thing. But I really feel like games get hurt and killed by this type of attitude. I remember not only MVCI, but also KOF 14. Both games going through this excruciating launch in the more in-the-know competitive scene in the FGC because of how they looked. And you shouldn't give game devs and game publishers a pass, you know, just because you want their company to be successful, you're a fanboy, or whatever the case is. You shouldn't give them a pass. However, there's a huge difference between saying, hey, this doesn't look very good, and LOL dead game, LOL emoji 100. There's a big difference between doing those two things. So I'm not saying don't give feedback. I am saying that calling a game dead before it even comes out, very publicly, very loudly, is just something that, like I said, is a bit of a phenomena in the FGC, and I don't really understand why people do it. When I was younger, because like I said, I've been doing this for a long time now, but when I was like in my mid-20s, I may have been a bit of a troll myself. I may have talked shit. However, it was a much different time. Everybody played Capcom games only for the most part, right? So it was very easy for me as a Capcom player to be an asshole to these people that were playing Guilty Gear and Melty Blood and Dead or Alive and Soul Calibur and whatever have you, Tekken, etc., etc. Because most tournaments we would walk into, you'd be able to walk up to any individual at the major and say, hey, what did you enter? And they would say both. And you would know what that meant. You would know that both meant I'm playing Street Fighter 4 and Marvel 3. That's how, like, I don't want to say oversaturated, but that's how like much of the ecosystem was Capcom games at the time. So I think maybe some of the dead game stuff comes from those times. However, it's not healthy. Like I've gotten older, I've become more wise and more mature, and I've realized, especially post 2016, when Street Fighter V didn't have the best launch, a lot of other games got chances to shine. A lot of other games had rollback. Well, not a lot, but a few other games had rollback, so they had the advantage there. They could actually be played online. Street Fighter V was struggling. Some would say it was incomplete and not ready to be launched. So other games, stepped up. And even since then, like I said, my vision, my view on the FGC as a whole very much changed around that time, because I saw that there are other people playing other games, and the FGC is so much bigger than just these two games with a few side tournaments. It was huge. There was people playing Guilty Gear Plus R. There's people playing Xrd. There was people playing all sorts of Tekken, whether it be Tag 2 or Tekken 7 eventually hit console. It was really wonderful to see the variety in the FGC, and I feel like yelling dead game over and over again, one, is usually factually incorrect, which I'll get into in just a second, and two, extremely detrimental to a scene, because who wants to play a game where everybody's telling you shouldn't play that game? And like I said, factually, that's usually not true. For example, you can see in this tweet, there's several numbers here, and it was a quote tweet that was broke down to show how many people DQ'd at Frosty Faustings versus how many people actually played in the tournament. So you'll see Guilty Gear ST, Guilty Gear Strive had 228 DQs, Melty Blood had a whopping 300 DQs, it left left 228 players able to play and did play in the tournament. And it goes further down the list, and you guys can read that yourself. That's kind of what spurred this tweet from Agent Obama to say, it sucks that many people DQ'd. However, the game is very well off. The game is doing fine competitively, and 228 competitors during these times of a pandemic is incredible. During the biggest wave or surge of COVID that the United States, I believe, has had since it started, still had 228 people who came out to essentially risk their lives to play Melty Blood. So I don't feel that these games that people are saying are dead games are dead games. For example, you have Spooky, who is still supporting Melty Blood, I believe, as well as Grand Blue, as well as DBFZ shown on the screen, Guilty Gear, of course. But like the dead game, the Melty Blood gets great numbers every week on Spooky's stream that he hosts for a tournament. I don't understand how you can yell dead game and try to show the Steam charts numbers when the competitive scene, the scene that we care about, the scene that matters to us, is still supporting their games, and big time streamers like Spooky are supporting this game. How can you call that a dead game? That seems ridiculous to me. And if you want to go like a little bit farther down the line, there's people like I See You Hater, Doncon, with Ralston Arcade. They've been supporting MVCI so long now that they have like 44-time champions because they run a weekly. And, it doesn't necessarily get 150, 200 people in the tournament anymore, but they definitely have like a strong 30 to 50 players that show up every week to play this game. I guess in closing, what I'm trying to say is, if you really want to play a fighting game, you can definitely do it. There's games that have been brought back from the dead, like UMVC3 with Parsec. Samsho is being played on Parsec. MVCI obviously is still being played in a tournament, both on PS4 and on PC. Yipes has hosted two MVCI events now. Come on, guys, stop calling games dead. They're not dead. If you really want to play a game competitively, you can absolutely play it, and it's probably not that hard to find the scene, especially if you're part of FGC Twitter or are hopping from Discord to Discord. It's definitely not that hard. Please stop calling games dead. Even if you don't like them, even if you don't support them, just say it's not for you. Fighting games rarely die. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know what you think about dead games or not so dead games, undead games if you will, in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.